Are you a first-time mom that is dealing with crying baby that just will not stop between the ages of 0 months to 3 months? Well, stay tuned because I can help you determine if you truly have a colicky baby, and if so, what you need to do. So, what is colic? First of all, colic is a baby that just does not stop crying. They just cry all the time. Some babies cry all the time. The whole time they're awake, they're crying. And sometimes it's just during specific times of the day. Like sometimes they say it starts in the evening hours and then they all go on into the night. Sometimes, you might have a baby that cries more in the morning or towards noon. My baby definitely started, my baby would have colic mostly all the time, but it hit hard in the morning hours and in the evening hours, which is pretty much all the time. Anyway, so that is colic. Theories behind colic. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what causes colic. So there are some theories. Some people think that it's overstimulation. So they think the baby comes out of this really comfortable womb where, there's nothing bombarding them. There's no light. There's no external stimuli like light, people talking, people moving. Noise, and sometimes even flickering lights can cause it. So they're thinking that it might be overstimulation. So if you feel like that's what's causing it, a way to make sure that that's not the case for your baby is to go into a dark room and have some white noise in the background. That's what we did. Another theory is they have an immature digestive system. And I'll tell you about the tips and tricks for that. And then another theory is that they're crammed in a uterus in such a tight place that when you actually give birth and they come out of the birth canal, that stress that comes on their bodies could be also causing colic. And I will talk more about that as well as we go through this video. So those are the theories. Now, first of all, we need to make sure your baby is truly colicky. We don't want you to look at the first reason. I don't want you to have to, go through, for example, eliminating things out of your diet if this is something that we can help with. Just simply making sure we're going down the list of the simple solutions, I will call them. Okay, so first of all, let's determine if your baby is truly colicky. You sure your baby's not hungry? Number one, try a bottle or try putting them to the breast. See if they're just simply hungry. And if that solves the problem, there you go. Make sure that you're going down this list. So, okay, they're not hungry, they're still crying. Dirty diaper. Is there a dirty diaper? Do you need to change the diaper? Is the diaper put on wrong where it's kind of stabbing them and making them feel uncomfortable? Make sure that's not it. And lastly, it could be a physical aspect. So maybe you have on clothes that are too tight. That are, that's annoying your baby and making them scream. So I always say just take everything off and see if they're still screaming. And if they are, it's not a physical aspect. So make sure that their clothes don't have any tags that are stabbing them in the back or in the side. Make sure their clothes are not too tight. And then lastly, and I found this very interesting, but we went to so many doctors to see, what could be causing this colic. And I mean, crying 24/7, is the doctor was like, maybe there's hair wrapped around his fingers or his toes and it's cutting off the circulation and it's really painful. So, and I've definitely seen people where they've had babies had this. So look at his limbs, look at her or his limbs, and look at the fingers and the toes and make sure there's nothing wrapped around them. Also look at, you know, if you have a boy, make sure that there's nothing wrapped around his private parts. So make sure that there's no physical external factor that can be creating this colic. If you went down all this list and your answer is still, my baby is still crying, this isn't where all the doctors in the world will unfortunately say, I'm not a doctor, by the way, but all the doctors that I've been to will unfortunately tell you, okay, I'm so sorry, you have a colicky baby. And I've had so many doctors just walk into the room and say, I'm sorry, you have to deal with this. This is colic. And it's not what I wanted to hear. It was so hard to hear. I wanted there to be a reason so badly because I just didn't feel like I could do it anymore. And it was just so stressful. As a second-time mom, I will tell you though, it is such a small period in your life and you can make it happen. I mean, it is not as stressful, believe me. It is all worth it in the end. So if your baby's truly colicky, here are the things you can try. Some people have tried chiropractor. I do not recommend, nor I don't recommend a chiropractor. I didn't try it myself. Some people say that it helps and adjusts them because of what I was saying earlier. One of the theories is feeling like they were cramped in there, and then, you know, the birth might have been very traumatizing to them, especially if, you know, they had to vacuum them out or anything aggressive like that. So you can try a chiropractor. I would definitely make sure that it's a chiropractor that is certified and educated and experienced with infants, because infants are so delicate. So you gotta make sure that you do your research on that. I personally did not try it, so I cannot speak to it. The next thing is, you know, if it is an immature digestive system, try gripe water. And then try Gas-X. And we were at some point like literally giving him Gas-X and gripe water every day to help with the problem. Unfortunately, it did not really help much, which I want to say there is another medication that we ended up trying for a week, and that was, we also tried Zantac, the version for babies, because sometimes they say they have acid reflux. So basically their gut is so immature and the sphincters are so immature, the milk would go back up and cause a burning in their throat, and they say that could create it. So that is another thing you want to make sure that your baby doesn't have, is acid reflux. Sometimes there's something called silent acid reflux that could be causing the problem. So that's, you know, unfortunately your baby would not be vomiting. So that's how they usually diagnose acid reflux, is your baby is constantly spitting up large amounts of milk, large amounts, or vomiting. And that's how the doctor usually will try to gauge if your baby has acid reflux. So, and then there's also a silent acid reflux where they're not really vomiting, but they still have that pain that is associated with that. And we tried that for a week. We tried Zantac for a week or two, and that didn't help. And again, we're back to point zero, where, you know, that didn't help either. So we tried Zantac, didn't help. So that would be the number 3 though. Try Zantac, baby Zantac. Colic, it's a food allergy, so your baby might actually be allergic to the milk that you're giving him or her. you have to make sure that it's not a food allergy. So if you're breastfeeding and giving breast milk, it might be like a milk allergy. So you have to cut out all dairy, for example, from your diet. Or it might be a nut allergy. And when you go to an allergy doctor, they will tell you what you need to cut out and kind of test that out and see if your baby reacts better or if they stop crying. And bear in mind that you have to cut it out for a certain amount of weeks before you even start to see improvement. So I had to do this. I literally cut out everything. I cut out dairy, I cut out nuts, I cut out soy, I cut out everything to see what could be causing my baby to cry literally every waking moment of his life. And that literally left nothing for me to eat. And that didn't solve the problem. And finally, last but not least, if you've tried all of the above and you've tried everything, I would say the biggest thing you can do is support and time, and knowing that this time will pass. You will be fine. It is only temporary. Just have to remind yourself it is only temporary. You know, my recommendation is, and again, I'm not a doctor, so this is strictly out of my experience. Try your best to comfort them with whatever you can. And then if nothing works, none of the 4 things that I mentioned before works, just know that it's going to end. It's not going to be like this forever. You will get through this, and it is going to end. And then your baby's all of a sudden going to be interactive. He's going to be smiling at you, and it's just going to be, you know, you're just going to look back and say, oh my gosh, you know, like, yeah, that was a hard time, but it's definitely worth it. That is the good news. It's not going to be forever. As a new first-time mom, it felt like it was forever because I didn't know what's going to happen. I didn't know, you know, what's going to happen when he's 3 months old. Is this going to go away? Is it not? Yes, it will go away, especially when your baby starts to interact with you. You can talk to your baby and help soothe them and get their attention, deviate their attention from crying or being upset. It's that first 3 months that are really trying and really hard. With my second baby, I was emotionally preparing myself. I was saying, okay, you know, if my second baby's colicky, what am I going to do? So I was already planning things to do. And the number one thing to do is get support. You cannot be around your baby while they cry 24/7 and be okay. You have to take care of yourself first. So take care of yourself first. And that is, you know, if you get someone you trust to watch your baby for an hour or two, walk away from that, because you might have to, especially if your baby just literally takes no breaks with the crying. You might have to. There were nights where I would pass out on the bed and my baby's like bawling and he would not stop. And, you know, don't feel guilty if you had to put him down in a safe area in a crib, nothing in the crib. Make sure that he's safe or she's safe and that they can't suffocate or hurt themselves, and just walk away if you need to for 10 minutes. Or have somebody watch your baby. There were, you know, I remember this like it was yesterday where we had my in-laws come over and they took the baby and my husband and I just got in the car and we literally just went to Walmart. But that helped so much, and I remember feeling so guilty for leaving, but yet at the same time so freed, and you know, just feeling the sun on my face because, oh my gosh, the first 3 months you do not get to leave the house. So it really just reset the button. It was a reset button for me, and it's what I needed to go back into dealing with a colicky baby, which by the way, right now he's happy as can be. So just know that, you know, as a second time mom, I know that it was going to be over. I wasn't as hyped up about it. So knowing what I had coming, I just wish I didn't overreact. I wish I didn't think the world was ending because my baby was crying all the time. And I wish I knew it was just a few more weeks and I would be out of that period and things would be better and things would be easier. And then you start sleeping the night. So just please know that you're not alone and it is a very, very, very temporary thing. I really hope this helped. I plan on posting some more videos on like latching problems and some more helpful videos on what to expect as a first-time mommy, or maybe just a first-time mommy with a colicky baby. So please feel free to subscribe, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you for watching.